and Ted Shackelford welcoming you to our anchor position where CBS brings you everything first, because we are right here at the starting line. And now, get ready for the circus.
Yeah, you know, the late P.T. Barnum called his circus the greatest show on earth.
But he was wrong, because this, the Tournament of Roses, is the greatest, the most spectacular show ever.
And it's interesting how we've grown during the past century, from a few neighborhood exhibits to huge floats that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And it's all heartwarming that the neighborhood communities keep right on taking part in the show. They do their own designs. They build them in their own neighborhoods, sometimes even under small tents.
Yeah, in one community...
That's La Cañada Flint Ridge, I happen to know.
Right, yes, it even uses a space under the freeway.
Aha! A tugboat that tugs at your heart from Sierra Madre. I like the glasses on that guy.
Ah, look at this baby dinosaur sliding down the mama's tail from the city of Downey. Look at that puppy go.
Looks like Mama had a little too much Christmas dinner, though.
And South Pasadena with real space junk. It's junk, but it's funny.
That's a broom, I'm guessing. Either that or bad hair. This boat from Burbank will definitely not win the America's Cup. Who are those riders? Is that Noah's Ark? Must be.
What's this? Ah, hooray! 3 cheers for the little fellas. La Cañada Flint Ridges, which won the Founders Trophy for its cute float called Barely Balanced. It's like my...
teeter-totter affair with that one. The bear is holding his own, it looks
It's
like.
barely balanced. It's like the inside of my head at the moment.
Oh, what did you do last night? Watching last year's exciting Rose Parade, I was impressed with all the gorgeous floats and the big bands.
Yeah, but there were still some sights that I remember very well, actually.
For instance?
Well, you know, one word for the amazing purple people eater.
Yeah, what is that?
Well, that one word is gulp, and you're going to see that in a second here. Look at
What
this.
is he doing?
Look at this. This is how we get you straightened out every morning, Joan.
Oh, I was going to say he's one of the Michigan cheerleaders. Oh.
There you go. Gulp. What? Right? What's
2
this guy?
gulps. Oh. That can lead to indigestion.
Yes,
Definitely.
if you eat 2 people in a row, it can lead to indigestion.
Too much. And there's Monty Montana's daughter. Do you remember her? She was a real swinger last year.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the rain dance, it paid off a year later here. We just got through with some torrential downpours.
And there. I always wanted to be a majorette.
Yeah, but that baton can really hurt when it hits you in the head, you know.
Never has. Oh, and that must be a big wheel from CBS, wouldn't you guess?
Oh, last year's parade was just one big circus. Look at this. I don't know how they do it on these floats.
Slam dunk.
Slam dunk. Slam dunk, right.
And a Laker, I'm sure it was.
Dancers, look at this.
What in the world?
Dolphins.
Dolphins, SeaWorld maybe. And coming up,
Octopus.
I think Dumbo, yes, but there's somebody that's my favorite, and I think that's your favorite, I know. There he is, Snoopy. I should have had such a dog's life. And now the Marines.
Okay.
The Marines, I believe, Ted, have they landed?
They have landed,
They have landed. That means that it's time for the big show, that it's going to be underway.
Let's watch it.
There they are. There they come riding down the street to begin this, the 103rd Tournament of Roses Parade. And these riders are from the U.S. Marine Corps Mounted Guard. They're all volunteers from their base in Barstow, California. And here they come down Orange Grove in front of us here to begin the Voyages of Discovery. We have like a mounted color guard here.
Oh, these guys are incredible. Look at those sabers. I thought Marines were on the ocean.
We're what?
On the ocean.
No, not today.
I didn't know Marines.
Everybody's in Pasadena today. Do you know there's something like 1 million spectators lining the streets to watch this magnificent 103rd parade?
1 million, is that right?
1 million, absolutely.
Do you know that this parade is 5.5 miles long?
That I knew. I knew. Look at them. They're standing now for this 103rd Tournament of Roses
As the colors
parade.
come by, everybody's standing.
The Marine Corps Mounted Guard. And they're getting a standing ovation in front of us here. And I think that's wonderful and patriotic in the best way we could possibly. Let's give them a hand. Yes.
Absolutely.
Start off year 1992.
That's really something.
Now we're beginning to hear the first band, the first unit to follow the Marines. It's the Composite Marine Corps Band, bringing us stirring music from 4 different troop units. 2 of these units, by the way, saw action in Desert Shield and Desert Storm. Why don't we give it a listen and enjoy?
They're playing the Marine hymn.
That's it. During combat, these musicians act as a weapons platoon, guarding the commanding general. And the crowd's getting excited over this one. Clapping, joining in the excitement. You know, by the way, Ted, there are 7 women in this group. And one of them, I hear, is the best machine gunner in the whole outfit.
That makes a lot of sense. I believe that. There's one of your women. Oh, these people are fabulous. Now here they are, to commemorate the 500th anniversary of Christopher Columbus's discovery of the New World. The Spain 92 Foundation brings us authentic replicas of those 3 historic ships, the Niña, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. This elaborate presentation, Joni, this thing is 85 feet long, and it's an authentic replica of those 3 famous ships. Look at that. It's detailed with redwood bark, and corn husks are used to create the sails. The ocean waves are accented with kale, lavender, and white irises. Actually, you know, Joan, the Santa Maria alone was about as long as this entire float.
I didn't know that, but you know, I can see the crest, by the way, the Christopher Columbus crest, the insignia on all those sails. And I bet you didn't know, Ted, that on October 12th, 1991, 3 ships built to the exact specifications of the original set sail from Cadiz, Spain, to retrace the route that Columbus followed 500 years ago. And all through this year, they're going to visit major cities throughout the United States.
Yeah, the walkers on the street are representing all the Spanish-speaking South American countries. And there are 14 Spaniards in costume on the float. These folks are all from Spain.
Looks like they're having a good first day of the year.
Yes.
It's got to be an exciting way to start out the year. I understand that the ship is shaped like a caravel so that the extra sail would navigate better against the wind and bring them quicker to this mainland.
What's a caravel?
Caravel's the shape of the ship.
What's that right?
Absolutely right, yes. And that brings the ship, it sailed better and they made better time, and they thought they were bumping into the
Asia.
Cuba. No, it was, and then, but it turned out it was
thought they were
Cuba.
going to Asia, but it turned out to be Cuba, yeah.
Hit Cuba instead.
In a balloon, how romantic.
5 hours? What about my diarrhea?
Don't worry, honey. I brought the Fermitine.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
To be a millionaire at American Family. You can be the winner of this million or that million and on to the biggest prize of all, $10 million. Watch for the only sweepstakes with my picture. All new $1 million prizes and the $10 million you can win just weeks from now. Be sure to enter the only sweepstakes with my picture. Last chance before I announce the winning number next month. Hurry.
Not just white.
Really white.
Not just white.
Really white.
When you want whiter white,
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
Anything can happen when Hearts Are Wild premieres January 10th.
For this special honor to Christopher Columbus, we get the real flavor of Spain 500 years ago from the Banda Primitiva of Iria, Valencia, the oldest civilian band in Spain. The musicians are all amateurs who worked at other jobs. Oh, listen to that sound. That's fabulous. Now, they're playing the official anthem of their province, Valencia, and they march in the famous...
What famous? What, Spanish rhythm?
They march in the famous Spanish rhythm called Paso Doble.
That means I pass twice,
No,
doesn't
that...
it?
Joe,
Please.
it's double time.
And here we go, because this 1992 Rose Parade honors the quincentennial of Christopher Columbus's discovery of the New World. This year we have two Grand Marshals, and they're right there in front of us. Riding in a vintage carriage, His Grace Cristobal Colon, the 20th descendant by direct line from himself, Christopher Columbus. Like the great explorer, Cristobal has a passion for the sea and holds the title of Lieutenant Commander of the Spanish Armada. But who else do we have?
We have our other Grand Marshal on horseback, who is a real native of America, a member of the Northern Cheyenne tribe, Ben Nighthorse Campbell, who is serving a third term in the United States House of Representatives. And he is a direct descendant of Chief Black Horse.
So we know this is a big special parade. We got two Grand Marshals.
Oh, look at this.
Now, you take the Phoenix. No, this is not the Sun-baked city in Arizona. This is the marvelous, mythical bird presented by China Airlines. Look at that explosive, beautiful bird there. This happens to be an award winner. I believe it is in the fantasy winner. And you can see why, because this awesome creature is 55 feet long, and it soars up 42 feet in the air. And watch those exotic wings extend to 27 feet across. The colors and the unusual details of this float are stunning, and it's obvious because you see it there on your screen. And the myth about this creature is also fascinating. See, it was supposed to live for 500 years, lots of vitamin C, I'm guessing, and this bird then built a huge bonfire and burned itself up. And before the ashes had a chance to cool, up rose another Phoenix, ready to carry on for another 500 years.
Sounds like Knots Landing.
Yeah, the run of Knots Landing.
Yes.
I agree.
Indeed.
You can see there that all the people walking, the riders and the people walking, are in authentic costumes from Taiwan. Look at those colors.
Right, they're all from Taiwan, actually, all the people.
Some of the members are from the Chinese Opera Company in Taiwan that are part of this float. That is a spectacular sight. And look what we have here.
Yes, these are our old friends and dedicated supporters of the Rose Parade, the Pasadena Community College Band, making its 67th consecutive appearance. This year's 248 members are specially selected students from area high schools at Pasadena City College, directed by James Arnwine. Let's give them a listen here.
Take it easy, Ted. Take it easy.
Yeah, I am. Not breathing too much. They're playing music arranged to celebrate and complement the theme of our 1992 Rose Parade.
Things look swell. And they do, don't they?
Yes, they do, don't they?
Yes, I thought you'd notice that.
My goodness.
Well, this morning, CBS Live, bringing you everything's coming up Roses, because we're bringing you the 103rd Tournament of Roses Parade. Here we are live on CBS. Joan Van Ark and Ted Shackelford, pleased and proud to bring you this parade. that you might conjure up some night after a 6-course Hungarian dinner or maybe a little too much New Year's Eve celebrating. It's a far-out ship from Long Beach, California, celebrating the treasures of that city with its 75th entry in the Rose Parade. The ship is propelled by a big balloon, and while it moves up and down on the crest of the waves, Spanish doubloon coins spill from the deck, a sort of floating slot machine, if you will. Notice that the bowsprit is modeled after one of Long Beach's popular tourist attractions, the Spruce Goose. We saw that just a moment ago. That's the largest plane ever built from wood, and that was designed, of course, by Howard Hughes.
Yes, did you know that he flew the Spruce Goose once? He flew it for 40 seconds. Now, here's an interesting fact.
What?
After he flew it, he spent the rest of his life living on the 13th floor of a 10-story building. You probably want to know what that means, don't
Go figure, go figure. It's a very colorful float, as we can see. My husband, a news reporter at NBC, has a piece of the Spruce Goose after having done a story on the Spruce Goose. It's really very historical and hysterical in front of us float. And now we have something quite spectacular right here in front of us. Girls often dream of a handsome knight riding up on a white horse. Well, if you're smart, at least for today, you just forget about the knight, but you keep that white horse like these rare, beautiful creatures. The beauties in this group are from Camarillo, a city north of Los Angeles, and they've been carefully bred and cared for, pure white, with pink skin and coal black eyes, and those ladies riding the horses are pretty spectacular, too.
Yes, they are. Now let's turn back the clock to the wild days of the famous gold rush with this nostalgic float from the city of Carson, California. California, here we come. Another voyage of discovery. This particular float was the winner of the Princess Trophy. It's a colorful stagecoach loaded with teddy bears. The bears are clever enough to use the old carrot on a stick trick to keep their horse moving. Oh, man, look at that. Everything's bright and vibrant with all these flowers. These flowers are marigold, yellow and lavender mums, and pink and white carnations.
Beautiful.
And very clever, Tony. You know, the watermelon's used there to create the cactus plants, and cocoa stems are stuck in to create the needles.
Ouch!
Yes. And if you look closely, you can spot the name tags of many Gulf War veterans on the luggage.
And if you listen carefully, you can hear the music from the float. It's a tape of an Al Jolson song, and he's singing California, appropriately, Here I Come.
Indeed.
And we'll be back in a few moments with more of the 103rd Tournament of Roses Parade. Joan Van Arken's Head Shock Crew
Here
on
live
CBS.
on CBS.
Yes.
So I saw this detergent with bleach alternative, and I wondered how it compared to my Clorox 2 on colored loads. So I pulled out the twins' dirty shirts. I washed this one in detergent with bleach alternative, and this one in Clorox 2 and my regular detergent. And look, the shirt washed in Clorox 2 is cleaner and brighter. I think I'll stay with my Clorox 2. Clorox 2 color-safe bleach. Gets clothes clean and bright.
It's Sears' biggest fitness sale. Walk, jog, or run with this 1 1/4 horsepower Lifestyler treadmill with auto incline and save big. Introductory price, just $499.99. Hurry, offer ends soon at Sears.
At last, Alpine Lace Free and Lean, fat-free and low cholesterol singles made with real cheese. You mean I can eat cheese products again? New Free and Lean.
America with Alpine Lace.
Tonight.
I can't believe I forged a note for my parents.
Some kids think they can get away with anything.
Your mother must have written this note in quite a hurry. She spelled her name wrong.
Brooklyn Bridge at a new time.
Helpful tips on starting a business.
It's his decision.
Never use your own money.
Gary, don't. You could lose your home.
Don't take your problems home.
You're destroying yourself, and you're going to destroy us.
And try not to mix business.
Call me.
With trouble. Helpful hints from Knots Landing Thursday.
This is CBS.
The Winter Olympics. Watch with the world here on Color 10. Your best dry cleaning value. Open weekdays 7 to 7. Even Saturdays 7:30 to 5. Glow Dry Cleaning Specialists.
kids come in all sizes and shapes, and different kids need different beds. For the best selection, come to
Kids Beds!
At Kids Beds, this all-wood bunk bed is just $99.99.
All right.
Or this tubular bunk bed with double-sized bottom bunk is $189.99.
Wow.
Plus, day beds start at just $45.99.
Cool.
For the best prices and biggest selection of beds for every kid, it's
Kids Beds!
Kids Beds, 642 East Battlefield, next to Big Sur in Springfield.
All right, and that's how we're going to run the play. Any questions now, Summer?
Coach, I've got a better idea. Instead of just talking about X's and O's, let's just talk about O's.
O's?
Sure. SpaghettiOs. They're nutritious, delicious, and they're specially priced this week at Smitty's. Best of all, they're a whole lot of fun to eat.
Now, that's a good idea, Summer. Let's eat.
No wonder they call you the Spoon.
CBS coverage of the 1992 Rose Parade continues with Joan Van Ark and Ted Shackelford of Knott's Landing.
Here we are. We're back live. You know, Gulliver was a frequent flyer who never did get anything half right. First, he was caught in the land of giants. Now here, Delta Airlines shows him captured in Lilliputian and tied down by the clever little people of that strange land.
But now, Ted, I have a question. Are
Yes?
Lilliputians taller than gnomes, by any chance?
Well, you know, Joan, I don't know, but they don't seem to have beards. You know, there are 14 children on the float who are playing the little people here.
Uh-huh.
Yes?
I see that Gulliver, we saw that for a moment, he turns his head. That
Right.
was up there. And this is the first attempt they've ever made to create an animated smile with flowers moving.
There's a gymnast writing in his left hand. That's not the gymnast.
No, and you can see it's a world to discover. Downey, California takes us back now to where it all began. This is it, a whole world to discover. Here we are, a newborn baby, discovering, ready to grow up and face life's pleasures and, of course, some of its pains. And you can see the pain in the cat, whose tail is being pulled by baby Snookum. This won Best Presentation of Color and Color Harmony through the use of flowers, and you can see why. Watching this infant child with the world ahead of him, I guess we're all thinking the same thing. If we started all over again, what would we do differently? You have any ideas, Ted?
You know, I've thought about that, and I think I wouldn't do anything differently.
You wouldn't change a thing, huh?
Not a thing. You know, for the record, this is one of those self-built floats. It's completely designed, constructed, and flowered by members of the Downey Rose Float Association.
Somehow I think that's a greater achievement when the people of the community build the floats themselves. I think that's a tribute to the community and the people in the community.
These trumpeteers from Pasadena City College herald the approach of Her Majesty, the Rose Queen, and her court. These are some of the finest musicians in the band, and they've been rehearsing for 2 months, so their fanfare should be better than fair.
They should be great.
Yeah.
And here we go.
One chance in a million. That's what Tanis Ann Turrentine of Pasadena must have thought of her prospects of being chosen Rose Queen over 731 other eager girls. But here's Her Majesty. Ooh, beautiful, beautiful woman.
They're
Queen
all
Tanis.
beautiful.
Yes, Queen Tanis with her lovely court of princesses. Queen Tanis has lived in Pasadena all her 17 years. She is a senior at Mayfield High School and plans special studies in theater and elementary education. Before the parade,
yes,
before the parade, Tanis told us that she and her court, how she'd like to put a new spin on the Rose Parade royalty.
Well, I think just our whole court is a riot. I've always thought of the stereotype of the royal court, of the Rose Queens and princesses, being very pristine, very prim and proper, but I think either we broke the mold or they were never like that, because we just have so much fun with each other, and we're always goofing off and just making the best out of everything.
Eastman Kodak's Rose Parade floats are always outstanding for their beauty. This year is no exception. Here we have a family outing. We have a family of lovely white swans setting out on its own voyage of discovery, and this was the winner in the director's division, and you can see why that is. Down through history, the swan has been a symbol of love, grace, and elegance, and a rare trait in our world today. Swans mate for life. Did you hear that, Gary Ewing?
Yes, I heard that.
Okay. One interesting thing to know about the bird's decoration, their 28-foot wings are actually made a feather at a time by carefully attaching flowers to the top and underside surfaces to create a unique layered look for greater realism. And the flowers here are white mums and carnations. Quite a spectacular float.
Yeah, Joan, did you know the decoration of this float was done by deaf students for the National Deafness Center at Cal State University Northridge? They were joined by other deaf students nationwide to help decorate this.
Well, they did a magnificent job.
This Wells Fargo float, Gold Beaver, is a giant spectacle. No, let's call it a rolling, spectacular act. And the spectators here in Pasadena just love it. This float won the governor's trophy. Look at that. These guys falling off this sluiceway here. This is a gold mining town in the Old West on New Year's Day, and all heck has broken loose.
I remember the Wells Fargo floats from years past. This is always a crowd pleaser.
Look at this. Somebody, look at it. They're coming down this sluiceway and then falling down into the water there.
There are 20 singers and dancers enjoying this plunge, and they're actually professional stunt people from San Francisco, California. Listen to the crowd. They love this.
Guys are great. This float is pulled by 8 matching Belgian draft horses. You know that?
I did know it. I saw it. Oh, there he goes.
Look at that.
He must not have a hangover. He's acting that way. This is truly a rose float, by the way, because it has no other floral decoration other than the 100,000 roses that are on this great float.
This is Ted Shackelford and Joan Van Ark here live with CBS at the Rose Parade. We'll be joining you in just a moment.
Stay with us.
When you're comfortable, you can really go places. Cherokee. Apparel, footwear, and accessories. Make yourself comfortable.
You've done a lot of hard things in your life. Like when your maternity leave ended. Going back to work seemed impossible. But a lot of things seem impossible until you do them. Like losing weight. Just call Weight Watchers. Our new quick control plan puts you in control fast. Weight Watchers knows you've got it in you to get it off you. We'll show you how.
During the JCPenney stock-up sale, you can stack up, pile up, and save up with 25% off on select women's bras, bikinis, and hosiery.
I've been thinking that
these would be great with your new suit. And the stripe is so beautiful.
Or fill up on all men's dress shirts. Then load up on select socks and underwear.
Well, this should just about do it. See, you got everything here but gray socks.
Gray socks?
The JCPenney stock-up sale.
When you're comfortable, there's no telling how far you can go. Cherokee. Apparel, footwear, and accessories. Make yourself comfortable.
No matter what you've been doing for the last 48 hours, hope you'll tune in to CBS and Davis Rules.
Start your new year right with Davis Rules tonight.
I love Randy Quaid and Jonathan Winters.
Because you never know who might show up.
Watch Davis Rules. I love it. I love it. I love it. Them guys are good.
Season premiere tonight at 8.
My friend Grimmy lives in that shoe. He's frantic. He's funny. And he ain't that bad a guy for a dog.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Grimmy, Saturday on CBS Kid TV.
Dear Melissa, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Love, Andy Ladd.
Dear Andy, I made this card myself. It's not Santa Claus, it's a kangaroo jumping over a glass of orange juice. Do you like it? I like you.
Oh, sorry. Joan and I were just going over a couple of moments here from Love Letters by A.R. Gurney, a play we had the pleasure of doing together at the Cannon Theater in Beverly Hills when we had some time off from Knott's Landing this Christmas.
Love Letters is a most unique and emotional experience for both the audience and the actors. It takes a young couple from the second grade through their entire adult life, all by way of their love letters.
Dear Joan, there seems to be a very exciing parade going on
I agree. Dear Ted, I hate writing letters, so let's get back and join the fun.
Yes, let's do that.
So, here we go. Now we're going to hear from the winner of the Big Ten, and we have heard it loud because it's the University of Michigan. The Wolverines are coming on strong from a season that saw them trounce Ohio State by the crunching score of 31-3. Most eyes are going to be on one player, though, Desmond Howard. He scored the longest punt return in the University of Michigan's history, a spectacular 93-yard run. The opposition coach called it him a phenomenal athlete, and they did so rightly.
It's a strong statement, but you know, most music critics claim that this is the best band in the land, the University of Michigan. Oh my gosh, look at that. A stirring sight and sound as Orange Grove Boulevard rings with their famous fight song. I dare you to sit still while they pass by.
I don't think it's possible to do it.
They are pumped. Look at that.
Well, 2 o'clock this afternoon, they're going to be pumped even higher. We're going to have watched one game.
I've never figured out, Johnny, how you march and play an instrument at the same time. I can have trouble walking and chewing gum at the same time.
But if you were getting for the game, you'd be able to do it. And now we have Voyagers of Discovery, and they've come from all walks of life, as we see in this float created by the family of Freemasonry. We see wise Ben Franklin, who made important discoveries in electricity. There he is.
That's Ben Franklin, played by Ernest Borgnine.
Of course, a very famous Mason, of course. And Ben Franklin lit up our lives in all aspects. And 2 historic achievements in space travel is another thing they're featuring. One, simple but heroic Charles Lindbergh's flight across the Atlantic Ocean. We see the plane there. And also, astronaut Buzz Aldrin's historic moonshot.
That's Royal Dano there. He was playing Charles Lindbergh.
Another famous Mason. And an American eagle rises up majestically on 26-foot wings over the open history book and the brilliant flag. There is the astronaut. I believe that's astronaut Gordon Cooper. There's another famous Mason. His name was Jackie, but I don't think he's on this float, is he?
Oh,
he's not. I don't think he is. It's a spectacular float, nevertheless.
Wasn't that Mason Jar?
Oh, turning the corner, and look what we have here.
This gentleman with his wife, Ruthie, first began serving the Tournament of Roses back in 1962. Now, he's our president, Robert Cheney, a retired aerospace engineer and businessman. All his life, he's been fascinated by pioneers, so he chose the 1992 theme of this year's parade, Voyages of Discovery, honoring the quincentennial of Columbus and many others who have pushed the boundaries of science, the arts, and education.
Boy, I'd love to ride
Big
down
standing ovation
Orange
here
Grove in Colorado in a beautiful carriage like that. Oh, what fun. I'm sure that little boy thinks the same thing, too. No place like home, but Better Homes and Gardens has given us a different twist. This is a gnome home, and it's the Queen's Trophy winner for best use of roses. And all the gnomes in this particular float are, thank heavens, home. They live deep in the ground, and everybody's busy. Only the very top of the float is supposed to be above ground level. You can see that Grandpa's feeding the birds and Mom's gathering flowers. And there's a father and daughter sitting in a rocking chair. There are some of those flowers. Trumpets, it looks like. Now, Ted, the question is, what is a gnome and what is the difference between a gnome and a fairy?
A gnome and a fairy? Mm-hmm. Well, Joan, I'm told a gnome is no more than 7 inches tall, and that includes his hat and his beard.
So what's a fairy?
Now, an exciting debut in the Rose Parade for this fine band from Springfield High School in Springfield, Oregon.
These eager young musicians have really worked not only on their music, but they have really worked. Because the town set up a special employment agency that arranged for kids to do various jobs and thereby earn their way to Pasadena. So they did yard work, they moved furniture, they even tore down an old building. Just bet they did. Let's listen as they tear down Orange Grove Boulevard. Rocket ship from the city of Alhambra, California is called, appropriately, Star Voyager. This imaginative craft isn't propelled by high-tech fuel, but by giant floral pinwheels. And the booster is bright with lavender mums and red carnations. Piloting this ship is astronaut George Takei, the well-known actor from Star Trek. That certainly is not George. Definitely not.
No, it isn't.
There he is.
Yes.
Happy New Year, George. And Happy New Year to all our watchers and viewers of this 103rd Tournament of Roses Parade. Brought to you live from CBS.
Let's discover now the fascination of Malaysia with 2 exotic stilt houses and 2 fishing boats created by Malaysia and Malaysian Airlines. This is the winner of the international float. Both boats are underway, plowing through waves of flowers that carry them up and down 40 feet. Look at that. The bowsprits of the boats are replicas of the Petalawati bird, a mythical creature used in royal ceremonies.
The what bird?
Petalawati, smart guy.
Thank you.
Thousands of orchids give the tropical jungle look to the houses, celebrating many native arts. Joni, you see the waves there? Well, that's a person waving. But
I did see a wave, and I know you did. Oh, I hope my husband's watching.
The waves underneath this boat are created by tens of thousands of roses, irises, daisies, carnations, and orchids. And this float was built by our good friend, Larry Crane.
And those beautiful women that we saw waving at us are all Malaysian students. And gorgeous they are. There's a gentleman there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ted Shackelford and Joan Van Ark. We'll be with you right back, live from CBS.
Mr. O'Reilly, this is the MCI operator. I have a call from New York.
Hi, Uncle Mike.
Trish?
I have a little surprise for you.
Mrs. O'Reilly, I have a call from New York and San Diego.
Hello?
A call from the United States for Seamus O'Reilly.
I'll try and find him. He's in Ireland.
This is Meg O'Reilly.
Sorry, line 1. O'Reilly.
You're still chasing the bad guy, Sean.
Who is it?
Everybody.
I can't believe this.
Hello?
Seamus!
Who's this?
Happy New Year, Seamus!
Should old acquaintance be forgot? For on Lang Syne, we'll take a cup of pine. Yeah.
I live in the country, where everything tastes a little sweeter and a little fresher. Maybe that's what I like best about these Sunsweet pitted prunes. I can taste all that goodness in Sunsweet.
Oh, mama, don't feed me no bologna. I want a bigger deal. Don't feed me just a sandwich. I want a sandwich meal. Don't feed me no bologna. I want a sandwich meal.
music, the outstanding Air Academy High School Cadet Marching Band from my home, Colorado Springs, Colorado. They do that so well because they train at high altitudes. You may think you're seeing double, Ted, because there are 4 sets of twins in the band. 3 female sets and 1 fraternal pair, and each twin in the pair plays a different instrument. Maybe I could talk to Bobby and Betsy about hitting the drums.
500 years ago, when Columbus discovered the New World, he was actually looking for the Moluccas, which are now part of the Republic of Indonesia, which sponsors this exotic float. This float won the Grand Marshals Trophy. Now, Joan, Molucca is one of 13,677 islands that make up the archipelago that stretches for 3,200 miles along the equator. You didn't know that already.
I didn't.
Today in the Rose Parade, we get just an inkling of the many amazing sights to be seen there. To be seen there are more than 400 volcanoes. And rainforests. And exotic coral reefs.
Also.
And there are mountains 16,000 feet high. Did you know that?
They're all right in front of us.
Here on Orange Grove Boulevard in Pasadena, native Indonesian dancers moved to the music of artists who came 10,000 miles to entertain us with the theme of a Toraja festival.
This is certainly one to hear as well as to see. This is another Rick Chapman creation. He was the builder, and he's probably best known for his animation in floats. This is some live animation in front of us now, though.
Yes, indeed it is.
Are those some of the Moluccans?
No, those are birds.
I thought Moluccans were birds.
No, Moluccans are people. They live in the Moluccas. A new entry in the Rose Parade brings along a wave of nostalgia. The Spirit of the West Riders from the Autry Museum. Led by Marshal Phil Spangenberger, each rider represents a different equestrian from 1840 to 1920. And all the clothes, saddlery, and horse tack are historically authentic items from the 19th century American frontier. Oh, this is magnificent.
Bit of a pause, obviously, that refreshes. Maybe the horses are glad to have this pause when they have 5.5 miles ahead of them. Here we are at CBS's anchor booth right at the start of the 103rd Rose Parade. And these people are getting a rest before they even get started. To make great discoveries like Columbus and other pioneers, you have to take time for learning, according to Rotary International. So they put the clock on us. As you can see, cuckoos pop in and out. There's some flowers there. There are clock weights that move up and down. The pendulum swings. Even the hands on the clock move. And they rotate.
Yeah.
Saw some butterflies earlier and the caterpillars, and there are even some baby birds that bob up and down. I wonder if this has anything to do with the birds and the bees. No, there we go with the cuckoo.
There comes the cuckoo. Joan, pay attention.
I am. I see that. You know, maybe it would be a lot easier to just wear a wristwatch. There was a variety of 40,000 roses used to create this springtime garden of learning.
Joan, did you know that we're live on CBS? Did you also know that every surface on all of these floats, all visible surfaces, have to be covered with organic materials like seed, grain, fruit, flowers, etc.?
And if they're not?
Then they can't be in the
They're disqualified.
They're disqualified. That's why we're not out there, because we don't have flowers all over. Look at that caterpillar.
These floats do have flowers, and spectacular ones at that. Some of these floats cost up to $200,000. Angelic trumpeters herald the good news that joy can be found within the family on the Lutheran Layman's League impressive float, Discover the Joy in Jesus.
In the family can be found stability, security, learning, spirituality, love, and truth. The League has now appeared in the Rose Parade with its inspirational offerings for 41 years. checked it twice to make sure nobody was pulling our collective leg, but it's true. This fine 200-member band comes from a high school in Springfield, Missouri called Kickapoo. So, you know with a name like that, they have to be good.
I love their uniform.
Let's listen here for a second. You know, these folks aren't just good musicians either. People who are concerned with the quality of our American schools will be happy to know that from the 1,600 Kickapoos, 15 won National Merit Scholarships.
Well, they were well dressed when they did win, because I think the uniforms are spectacular.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ted Shackelford and Joan Van Ark here live from the 103rd Rose Bowl Parade. We'll be back with you in a moment.
Drixoral is. Sudafed isn't. Drixoral is. Contac isn't. Drixoral is the only 12-hour cold medicine you can buy that was once a prescription and is still available in its original prescription strength. Drixoral.
It's cold out there, but this winter, the cost of heating is surprisingly low, thanks to Cream of Wheat. Hot, nutritious Cream of Wheat can help fuel your family all morning long for as little as 10 cents a serving. So keep down the cost of energy with Cream of Wheat, also available in instant, and turn up the heat for less.
Look for all these million-dollar prizes in the only sweepstakes with my picture. All new chances for you to get rich at American Family. You can win $10 million next month. Last chance to enter before I announce the winning number. Hurry.
Tonight.
I can't believe I forged a note for my parents.
Some kids think they can get away with anything.
Your mother must have written this note in quite a hurry. She spelled her name wrong.
Brooklyn Bridge at a new time.
Imagine 1 billion people cheering at the same time. It will happen when the 1992 Olympic Winter Games come to CBS. Share a moment with the world.
This is CBS.
Keep watching Color 10 Springfield.
Christian County Division of Family Services is in need of foster parents. Anyone interested in wanting additional information about the foster parent program can call 485-7511 or 820-3065, Monday through Friday from 8 until 5.
New Year's Day, 5 hours and 5 hours only of incredibly low furniture prices at both of the two Mulholland Furniture stores. That's right, for the first time ever in the history of Mulholland Furniture, we will be open for 5 hours of red-hot red door prices from noon until 5 p.m. And for this one day, make any purchase over $250 and receive 90 days free financing at both Mulholland stores downtown or Highway 65.
All year round, the holiday spirit is alive at the Lester E. Cox Medical Centers and the care and services that we give our patients. But at this season of the year, from our 3,700 employees, our medical staff, our board of directors, and our volunteers, we want to wish you a happy holiday and a happy and prosperous New Year's.
It's the CBS coverage of the 1992 Rose Parade with Joan Van Ark and Ted Shackelford. Sponsored by Nutrisystem. Nutrisize your life.
Fact. The Vikings had landed in the far north of America 1,000 years before Columbus.
The daughter of Eric the Red, probably known as Pink, was the first Viking woman to visit America.
Yeah, she was probably related to my wife, who just happens to be from Denmark.
Oh, well, let's get back to the parade.
Yes.
I think in front of us here is an incredible
Brace yourselves
band.
and And those at home, turn down Grandpa's hearing aid and get ready for noise that could break the sound barrier. 3 in a row is a huge football helmet. The Pac-10 universities, especially the University of Washington, who's prepped to beat the winner of the Big Ten, Michigan, and make it 3 victories in a row.
I think they should just have a band-off between the two of them.
I think, yeah, save a lot of wear and
See
tear.
who's the loudest.
16 cheerleaders lead the Pac-10 fans in this Rose Parade bedlam and get a big reaction from the crowd here. So are there any Michigan fans here right now? Well, if there are, you can run, but don't hide. Don't hide over here. Don't hide where we are.
Wait until 2 o'clock this afternoon when they have the bowl game.
Look at that helmet.
Now, wait a minute. That looks like the opposition to me.
No, that's Washington. That's a Husky, Washington Husky. Children growing up make lots of new discoveries, but according to the Sierra Madre, California Rose Float Association, none is more wonderful than the world of Mother Goose. Here she is in all her feathered finery, except these are actually made of white chrysanthemums. She's bringing along all the stories and rhymes from her childhood. Little Bo Peep lost her sheep. Oh, that's bad. Jack and Jill, there's Mother Goose. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water.
And Jack fell down, and we went instead to what we've been all waiting for, a voyage to paradise created by the Unocal Corporation. We enter a dream world of floral splendor with rare birds and animals tame enough to ride. The huts here are built of bamboo, sisal rope, and the roofs with palm fronds.
Look at that zebra.
Spectacular zebra, black and white. And a pretty spectacular rider, too. The water wheel on this float turns lazily as the lovely scene moves along Orange Grove Boulevard right in front of us.
All right, here's a tricky treat from American Honda in the form of a floral-covered history book. It's only about 10 feet thick, but keep your eyes on it. Look out, see how it pops up? Just like those pop-up books when we were kids.
Yes.
At the center is the famous Trumbo painting of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. There's the American Bald Eagle.
The Grand Old Flag.
Right.
Oh, the crowd loves this
Closing back up. Look at that.
That is magnificent.
It's incredible. In all its final glory, this float turns out to be 55 feet in length. I'd hate to be the guy who closes the book here.
I don't want to close the book on this one, though.
Look
It's
at it.
fantastic. This is another spectacular float created by Rick Chapman, who's really a master, as I said before, of animated float design. There it goes flat down.
That is truly
It's
remarkable.
only about 10 feet thick at this point. This is amazing. And the crowd is
Look at
rewarding
here it
them
goes.
with
It's going to pop
applause.
up again. This is remarkable. I don't know what to say. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's the Al Maleka Shrine Patrol, starting right here at the beginning of the parade, here live on CBS. They're mounted on handsome palominos with silver saddles and wearing official uniforms and the traditional red fez, which make a very bright spot in this Rose Parade. But they have a more serious purpose. They represent the 18,000 members of their organization and the Shriners Hospital for Crippled Children in Los Angeles. And what a wonderful motto. We ride so that children can walk.
But you will find that your happiness lies, Ted, right under your eyes, back in your own backyard. And here, that bit of homespun philosophy is brought to life with a charming float from the Arcadia, California Tournament of Roses Association. This is a nostalgic, old-fashioned backyard, complete with a tree house. And riding on that float, by the way, is the Arcadia Rose Court. As you just saw, the tree is decorated with moss, seeds, and chrysanthemums. The garden areas are packed with pine boughs, plexus, daisies, and roses for the Arcadia Rose Court. The most important thought here, though, is that we should be concerned about the environment, something to think about in 1992, And that begins in your own backyard, where you can start the greening of America. A pretty way to state a very good thought. Now, something that's really hard to believe. This is the first time that the state of New Hampshire has ever appeared in the Rose Parade. It took them 103 years, but we'll take them any way we can get them. What an impressive debut with the Londonderry High School Lancer Marching Band. Preparing for this appearance with weight training, with weekly aerobics, and with a 10-mile walkathon. And to help raise money for the trip, it's a very long trip, they planted a pumpkin patch. Whatever they did, they sound ready today. Down to Colorado Boulevard, and for the 5.5 miles ahead of them for the 103rd Rose Parade.
Now, for all of us gathered in Pasadena today, here comes Pasadena, Texas, that is, where they claim the sky's the limit. We are talking oil here with a powerful pump that's working as the Texas Star rotates at the back of that gigantic spur. The well produces floral gold, symbolizing all the products that come from oil. Plastics and cars, kitchenware, clothes, and space equipment. By the way, do you, Joan, have any idea when oil was first discovered in this country?
Not
no?
a clue.
Well,
Not
only
a clue.
130 years ago. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We'll be right back. Joan Van Ark and Ted Shackelford here. The 103rd Rose Parade. We'll be right back.
At last, Alpine Lace Free and Lean, fat-free and low cholesterol singles made with real cheese.
Fat-free? Like me? Beautiful.
New Free and Lean.
America with Alpine Lace.
The search is on for American Family's fourth $10 million winner. $10 million, all for you next month. In the only sweepstakes with my picture. Last chance to enter before I announce the winning number just weeks from now.
Here comes a small wonder. Here comes comfort for constipation. A laxative called Dulcolax. It's comfort-coated. Dulcolax is the only leading overnight laxative that is. It's specially coated not to upset your stomach. And more doctors are comfortable recommending Dulcolax than other overnight laxatives. For overnight relief, try gentle, comfort-coated Dulcolax. Small wonder.
Tonight, the family comedy you can watch with Grandma.
I love Randy Quaid and Jonathan Winters.
With Grandpa.
Davis rules. I wouldn't miss that.
With all the kids.
I don't have a doggy or a kitty. I do have Davis rules.
Even your brother-in-law.
Them guys are good.
Davis Rules, the season premiere tonight.
Robin Williams.
Well, is this the dagger I see before me?
Network television premiere with 13 minutes of new footage. Dead Poets Society, Friday at 8.
Joan Van Ark and Ted Shackelford at our anchor position for CBS, watching live the winner of the national trophy. With the Seventh-day Adventist Church, we discover the world of service. Giant sunflowers dominate the floral displays. We have 5 sculptured children, which represent the commitment of the church to health, education, social welfare, and personal achievement. On this float, the children are play-acting adult service-oriented roles: the school crossing guard, the teacher, the doctor, nurse, and there in front of us, the firefighter. You can see the children's heads turn, and their bodies move, and birds hopping all over the place there. I think there's even a puppy somewhere that has a tail wagging. There he is. The lower corner of your picture. One of the riders on this float is Michelle Bush Koch, a nurse and world-class Olympic runner. She is the record holder in the 1,500-meter run. There's our nurse. Now, back in Montebello, California, some mothers of the musicians in the Spartan Band may be busy at the sewing machine, and you ask me why? Well, because they have more fine musicians available at Shore High School than they have uniforms. Go buy more? You might say that, but like many communities today, funds for education are short. So everybody pitched in and made their uniforms for today's appearance. Back when the military action of Desert Storm began, the band was almost wiped out when 80 members signed up for the armed forces. But they're back now, and they're ready to entertain us as they march along in front of us here in front of our CBS Anger booth as we watch them on the Rose Parade route. We have an exotic bridge to discovery in front of us, almost in our own backyard from the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, right here in Pasadena. This is a replica of an actual bridge at the hotel, and Ted and I know about that because we filmed some of Knots Landing's episodes there.
Yes.
We have paintings of scenes from early California. These paintings are colorful floragraphs created with thousands of different kinds of flowers. The pond and the creek are really scores of irises. And in this garden, you're going to find 20,000 roses. And those two large sculptured trees that you just saw bloom with roses, carnations, and orchids. Wow, pretty impressive.
Today, we're honoring Columbus, who made history going down to the sea in ships. Well, the Bakery and Confectionary Workers Union simply wants to make our mouths water going down to the sea in sweets. Friends, throw away your calorie counters and savor the sight of delicious candy, cakes, donuts, and cookies. It's a feast for your eyes, too. This ship is covered with marigolds and white and yellow chrysanthemums.
I know that those
lollipops.
I know those lifesavers and lollipops are decorated with carnations.
You know, the skipper here sports a slick outfit of straw flowers and orchids. You know, it probably never occurred to most of us, but riding horseback is one of the best kinds of therapy for the handicapped. And this is the purpose of this fine group, the American Riding Club for the Handicapped. Now, here's a surprise to me. Joni, you know, they even compete in riding meets against non-handicapped teams.
Incredibly beautiful horses. And now following the horses, we have Columbus and other explorers. They had well-built and well-equipped ships, which we can see. But what happens when a group of foolhardy mice set out to sail? Well, so far, they're just squeaking by in this clever float by Cal Poly University. Their vessels are made of old milk containers, straws, toothpicks, and an assortment of kitchen utensils. But friends, there's more than meets the eye here, because the clever science students at Cal Poly have powered the float with an intricate hydraulic setup, and all the moves are controlled by not one, but two computer systems. The age of the computer. Cal Poly has two campuses, by the way, one at San Luis Obispo and the other at Pomona. So one half of this float was built at each place, and then both were hooked together for the parade. That's teamwork.
Yeah, speaking of teamwork.
What?
Something here that interests me. You know, these students work so hard and they spend so much time on their creations that romance kind of sneaks into the scene here. You know what the result is?
What?
There are 2 or 3 marriages each year.
We know where they can get flowers for the bouquets. Really a wonderfully colorful float.
The Joker is wild.
Now, there are required dimensions for these floats, which are 55 feet long and 18 feet wide. I think that one's a little under the required dimensions.
Nuts. Now, that's one answer. Nuts! I said nuts. That's one answer to how this marvelous Viking band from Hilo High School in Hawaii made it to the Rose Parade today. Those nuts are the delicious macadamia nuts that grow in native trees. The kids had to wait for the nuts to fall on the ground, and they gathered them up. It was hard work, but it helped them raise money for their trip here to Pasadena today.
Yes. Here on our screens right now is a shot of Joseph Sicipio and his wife, who must be having the most incredible time. Let's hope that he is our truly honored guest today. And they seem to be enjoying themselves. We are thrilled that they are here with us.
You notice these headbands here? Those are called haku headbands, and they're part of the uniforms here. They're not quite as colorful as floral lace, but they're durable. They're made from dried leaves, flowers, and vines from trees.
And look what's coming now.
Yes, General Motors presents Looking to the Future. It creates a far-out, fanciful space probe that should knock us all for a Rose Parade look.
This is the sweepstakes trophy for the most beautiful? Wow.
Look at that. It can rise above the grandstand, the music here, and the music is close encounters of the third kind.
The spaceship is on a lunar landscape of seaweed, marigolds, and sponge mushrooms. Look at the riders. Oh, and you notice the hand puppets that they have? They were waving at you?
Yes. All movements on this crazy spacewalker are controlled by two computer programmers located in the head, right there in the head of the cockpit, and power surges from two specially built motors. Those 16 strange wheels you see there, those are replicas of the ones designed to navigate the bumpy surface of the planet Mars. A venture for the future. It'll take 2 years to get there. This thing was completely decorated by volunteers from General Motors in more than 3,000 man-hours.
Now, if you can see, I am going to wave at this monstrosity in front of me, this impressive monstrosity, with my puppet. There are people all along the route waving with their puppet. The General Motors Looking to the Future float.
Our hats off to Don Bent and his gang for building this giant.
Oh!
Look at that.
Great sound effects, too. Well, as Joan Van Ark and Ted Shackelford sit here at our anchor booth for CBS, we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Please come back and join us.
When you're comfortable, there are no limits. Cherokee. Apparel, footwear, and accessories. Make yourself comfortable.
How can you tell a raisin nut from an ordinary raisin? Raisin nuts shop in big and tall shops. They are frequently mistaken for dirigibles. And they have a heck of a time hiding behind trees. But the best way to spot a raisin nut is to taste one. Because when you take a fat, juicy raisin and roll it in a nutty coating, it keeps it plumper, makes it extra tasty. The toasted bran flakes and big crunchy almonds help too. For big-time raisin taste.
D. And from Walt Disney Pictures comes Beauty and the Beast, the most acclaimed movie of the year, nominated for 4 Golden Globe Awards, including Best Picture. Disney's Beauty and the Beast, rated G, and Father of the Bride, each playing separately.
I'm really sorry I'm late.
Late? We're having coffee.
Taster's choice. Just in time.
You know, everyone except...
We've met.
We share the same taste in coffee.
Savor the sophisticated taste of Taster's Choice.
Are you always late?
Not tomorrow.
What happens tomorrow?
I'm inviting you to dinner.
What makes you think I'll accept?
You can't resist my coffee.
When you're comfortable, you can really go places. Cherokee. Apparel, footwear, and accessories. Make yourself comfortable.
Fact. The natives where Columbus landed led a very simple life. When hungry, they hunted wild game and then they ate it.
Fact. Some of them were even smoking cigars.
You know, I guess that was about the time that George Burns picked up the habit. Would you guess that was true?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe better go back to the parade, yeah. Okay, in front of us here, we have...
You know, nobody invented America, but America has produced a lot of inventors, presented now by Kmart Corporation. Young Orville Wright, with the paper plane in his hand, is talking to Alexander Graham Bell via his soon-to-be perfected telephone. Now, this telephone is actually 2 tin cans tied together by a string. You know, Johnny, sometimes I think this might be an improvement on the car phone I've got now.
It might be, because I could never reach you when I call you on that car phone. And who is this genius of a lady, the real sweetheart, you should pardon the pun, to us all? It's Ruth Wakefield, who concocted the first chocolate chip cookie. There's Ruthie.
Riding on the floater is an amazing young girl, Jennifer Shelburne, only 12 years old. She's being honored for her outstanding environmental award. She invented a machine that shreds cardboard. With her is Mary Lauer, teacher at the Old Kentucky Home School.
The big green machine, no, it's not some kind of giant money machine. It's the band from Carlisle High School in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. These musicians have had a fun time raising money for this trip to Pasadena. Just before Thanksgiving, they held a march-a-thon that raised $6,000, and they had a rent-a-kid program renting young people to do odd jobs. Listen to this.
That's a symbol. You know what that symbol is?
Symbol of what? Of what?
Right. Noise.
The symbol of some good playing.
Good playing live here on CBS.
And they're obviously best as musicians because these people have won the Tournament of Bands for the past 6 years.
Ah, the flute, Joan.
My favorite. Joan Van Ark and Ted Shackelford sitting here at the CBS anchor booth right at the start of the 103rd Tournament of Roses Parade. And an exciting morning it is, the first day of 1992. We're right here where we see it first, and they turn down the street to join the rest of the people, the 1 million spectators along this route. My dear Watson barked Sherlock Holmes, and he really did bark because he's a dog on this charming float called Sherlock Hounds from the La Cañada Flint Ridge Tournament of Roses Association. You see, the whole puzzling case facing Holmes really just stinks, because a mouse here has stolen a piece of cheese and a bone belonging to Watson and is trying to make his getaway on the rear part of the float. It's a real dog and mouse chase. Ooh.
Dog and mouse chase.
The impressive thing about this float is that it's totally designed, built, and decorated and financed by volunteer members of the La Cañada Flint Ridge Rose Association, the group that builds some of their floats under a freeway. A mini freeway bridge right there in front of us.
Do you suppose they got that under a freeway?
I don't know how. They did an amazing job, yes.
Look at that bone, Joan.
See that? In the total, there's 35,000 whole flowers and 400 pounds of seeds, and 200 plants were used to create this dog and mouse chase that we see in front of us. For more than 38 years, this stirring sight has been a familiar one in the Rose Parade, and it's the Long Beach Mounted Police on their matched golden Palomino quarter horses with sterling silver saddles. These men and women are all Special Reserve officers in the city of Long Beach, and they all maintain their own horses and equipment, and that equipment looks like it needs some maintenance. Get out the silver polish.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ted Shackelford and Joan Van Ark.
And we're looking at the Mayor's Trophy in front of us as the outstanding city entry.
Right. Now, you know, it was called Leningrad for as long as most of us can remember, but now the new enlightened Russian government has given back its historic name, St. Petersburg. The city of Los Angeles salutes its sister city with a beautiful carriage in the tradition of a troika, pulled by 3 handsome horses.
Did you know, Ted, that this is the first ever Rose Parade to be telecast to Russia?
Yes, I did.
This is exciting, though.
Right. And they're going to repeat this parade at 7 p.m. Moscow time on the All-Union Channel. During the parade week, an official Russian delegation was visiting Los Angeles and Pasadena. The designer of the charming carriage, Craig Gibbons, made a special trip last spring to make sure that this was an authentic carriage sleigh of the 1900s.
Boris is now talking, well, listen, Ted,
and Larissa Batkova,
to the Russian TV commentator describing this float to St. Petersburg.
And today is, by the way, the first day of broadcasting to Russia on Russian Central Television.
We're now going to listen to Boris and Larissa, the commentators, to St. Petersburg.
Новый трехцветный флаг.
Those voices they were describing.
А это марширующий оркестр средней школы «Орел». Владимир, скажите, а вот наши школьники готовы были вот так?
This is an emotional float, I feel, because of what it signifies and what it symbolizes, and I think it's just a wonderful step.
Now's the time to move back and allow plenty of room for the biggest band in the 1992 Rose Parade. From DeSoto, Texas, the DeSoto High School Eagle Marching Band with 320 members. Look at that. DeSoto, you know, is a town of 30,000 people near Dallas, and the band is so big, they can't find a building large enough, so they have to rehearse outdoors.
Now, as they turn down the street to go on the 5.5 miles of parade, we're going to take a break. Joan Van Ark and Ted Shackelford asking you to rejoin us after this word.
Time to start your New Year's diet. So include the Kellogg's Special K breakfast and make up for the way you ate this holiday season. Kellogg's Special K. Lose the holiday fat.
Give up. What's with all the exercise?
Oh, I just want to let everyone know that Sunsweet prune juice isn't just a delicious change of pace.
Oh, well, that explains it.
Sunsweet's a great natural source of energy.
Good. You're going to need it.
Thank you.
Some helpful business tips. Don't take your problems home.
You're destroying yourself, and you're going to destroy us.
And don't mix business with trouble. Knots Landing, Thursday. Come to a place where fantasies become reality.
It's magic.
Where a long shot is your best shot.
Best view in the city.
This view's not bad either.
Where your wildest dreams can come true. And anything can happen when Hearts Are Wild premieres Friday, January 10th on CBS.
This is CBS.
Professional reporting. Terry Moore on Color 10 Newsbeat.
High-quality dry cleaning. Dependable low price. Convenient hours and locations. Those who know rely on Glow.
Peter Pan introduces new whipped peanut butter. It's so smooth. It's so fluffy.
butter pan whipped. The greatest thing since sliced bread.
Kids come in all sizes and shapes, and different kids need different beds. For the best selection, come to
Kids Beds!
At Kids Beds, this all-wood bunk bed is just $99.99.
All right.
Or this tubular bunk bed with double-sized bottom bunk is $189.99.
Wow.
Plus, day beds start at just $45.99.
Cool.
For the best prices and biggest selection of beds for every kid, it's
Kids Beds!
Kids Beds, 642 East Battlefield, next to Big Sur in Springfield.
CBS coverage of the 1992 Rose Parade continues with Joan Van Ark and Ted Shackelford.
Ted.
Joan.
Suppose that you wanted to visit the Azalea City. Where would you go?
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
You'd head south, of course, to the Gulf of Mexico, and you'd stop where there are the moss-draped old oak trees.
No, I'd stop right there. See that?
You probably would. You're right. And some of the most beautiful antebellum homes, besides the beautiful women, that you could ever imagine. And you know where you'd be? In Mobile, Alabama, where you find an extravaganza of azaleas. And you'll meet the famous, lovely azalea trail maids, which you see right there, who are the official goodwill ambassadors to the city. There's a lot of goodwill there, I'm sure. Those tree trunks are covered with, no, not azaleas, surprise, surprise, tree bark, Spanish moss, orchids, carnations, and roses. Quite a spectacular float. We're speaking of way back when. You know about a merry-go-round. I know you do, Ted. But Arco has a truly spectacular creation, an oval go-round featuring many modes of transportation used to discover and explore America. And this is the animation trophy and its best display of animation. And you can see that that's true. Them circling there. You've got a canoe in a wild river. You have a tall ship carrying cargo to the west. You have a lonely horseman somewhere there scouting the frontier. There's one going around. There's the cowboy on him. You have a covered wagon.
That's a chuck wagon.
No, food, right? Food. I
yeah.
might have known.
Right.
You got a train somewhere chugging along. That looks like a riverboat. Yeah.
Steamer.
And there are Model T Fords and all kinds of modes of transportation. There's our train.
There's our bicycle built for two right there.
A flowery bicycle built for two. The bright American flags that top off this marvelous display are 34 feet high and represent 7 of America's historic flags. And the children that are taking the ride of their young lives are Make-A-Wish kids, having probably one of the most memorable days of their lives.
You know, speaking of transportation, I think what we really need now is a sort of freeway flyer that kind of zooms above the stalled cars and gets you home for dinner before midnight.
I don't know. I'd settle for a ride on this oval go-round. I'd settle for this. The Burbank Tournament of Roses Association asks us to see small and discover things through the eyes of a child.
Yes, Joni, you know, this was the winner of the Founders Trophy. This young chap is busy with his magnifying glass studying the details of a praying mantis, while the mantis is praying for the kid to let him go. There's a whole world of living things waiting for the boy's eager eyes. There are insects that move around in large jars. There's a fish that swims and jumps. This, by the way, was the best self-built entry.
That is a phenomenon in itself.
There's a mama duck and her babies chase a dragonfly.
Somewhere there's a rabbit that pops its head from a hole in the tree and then pops it back in after it sees the dog. Circling birds, seagulls. Just through the eyes of a child or someone who maybe did a little overindulging last night.
Yeah, there's a frog. You know, the tree on this float is a California lilac magnified 400 times. And by the way, Joan, did you know that the California lilac is the official flower of Burbank?
No, No, I thought the cauliflower was the official flower of Burbank.
Why did you think that?
Because Burbank, cauliflower, I think of one, I think of the other. Did you ever think about where you'd house a big band like this one that is from Forest Lake High School in Forest Lake, Minnesota? Well, let me tell you, they are all staying in the gymnasium at Pasadena High School. Now, I'll bet that's some phys ed class. This talented group has a thing about togetherness, because the last time they came to the Rose Parade, that was okay, they came by plane, but this year, they hired buses equipped with video and all the comforts of home.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ted Shackelford and Joan Van Art here live with the 103rd Rose Parade. We'll be with you in a moment.
Please come back and see more.
Happy New Year, everybody, from Tommy Lasorda. This is how I looked before I lost 30 pounds in 3 months with the Ultra Slim Fast plan. But look at me now. The best part isn't how good I look, but how great I feel. And you know, Ultra Slim Fast is such a healthy diet. The best resolution you can make is to lose weight with Ultra Slim Fast. If you do, I know it will be a great year for you, too.
Ultra Slim Fast. Give us a week. We'll take off the weight.
It's Sears' biggest fitness sale. Walk, jog, or run with this 1 1/4 horsepower Lifestyler treadmill with auto incline and save big. Introductory price, just